Hello, and welcome to another Leadership Nugget. Most of these are about how, as leaders, we influence others and how we create opportunities and possibilities within the workplace. This one, though, is about you. It's about us. It's about us personally. How do we take care of ourselves to be better for others? And we're going to talk about it the Blue Zones way. Many years ago, I had the opportunity to go and have a one-on-one sit down with Dan Buettner to hear directly from him about his research into all the different places in the world where people have a statistically healthier, longer life, and to talk about what are the key elements that make that happen. Dan and his team described 9 elements that were critical to Blue Zones and unique. For this presentation, I've divided them into 3 parts, and the first is physical lifestyle. And basically, these people just move naturally. They're not exercising necessarily. They're not running or going to the gym, but they're doing regular daily routines, gardening, walking, things like that. They also have a very clear sense of purpose. This is what it is you're accomplishing. And it could be a garden. Maybe it's mentoring other people, but they have a strong sense of purpose. And they also take time during their normal routines, daily routines, to downshift, to relax, to take a nap, to take a break, to say a prayer, to reflect. That's an important element within the Blue Zone strategy. 3 of the Blue Zone's elements are directly tied to diet, and they're really simple. The first one is don't overeat. It says when you're about 80% full, stop eating. They talk about a plant slant. It doesn't mean you have to be a vegetarian, but it means make sure you bulk up your diet with lots of fruits and vegetables and whole grains. And the last one is wine at 5. That means that a moderate amount of alcohol on a daily basis can be important, and it is a factor in all the Blue Zones. Of course, it's not applicable to everyone, but it is one of the Blue Zones elements. The last 3 of the 9 elements, I've labeled them emotional, are all about connections. And this is where Blue Zones tend to differ from most other cultures. But this whole sense of belonging and being part of whether it's faith-based or community, but that belonging to an organization or to a group of people, with special emphasis on family. And in many of the Blue Zones, there are no long-term care centers that are even in the culture because people age in place with their family, maybe up to 4 and more generations. And then this whole sense of tribe is, who are the social circle elements that are out there, and how do they reinforce healthy behaviors? In other words, run with a good crowd. These are just a few examples of where women live longer, men live longer. There's a low rate of dementia and chronic disease. And these are all examples that come from Blue Zones and people that follow those 9 elements that we talked about. Here are just a couple of individual examples, but the main thing is that people in Blue Zones are healthier, more active, and more productive until late in life than the rest of the population in the world. I hope this is pretty intuitive, but this is important for us because if we follow these simple tools, we can be healthier, longer, we can set a better example as a role model for our team, and we can extend our useful life as leaders. And the key here is this is, not about supplements and fitness and going to the gym. These are daily basic habits and connections and sense of purpose and supportive environments that are going to make all the difference. And of course, you don't have to live in a Blue Zone to practice the 9 elements that are going to help you to be more like those who do live in the blue zone. As always, if you enjoyed these, there are more of them out there at the School of Global Health Management and Informatics here at UCF. Be healthy, be well.